Hi, this is Carla Pendleton, and welcome to my online studio. Today I'm going to be demonstrating how to paint a peony flower and leaves, of course, in using a one-fire method. We'll be doing a three-quarter view of peonies, but as you may know, peonies come in a wide variety of colors. From white to dark purple with some blue I've even seen, yellows, predominantly pinks, but some reds as well. So today we're going to be painting a darker pink peony to match a set that I'm doing for my grandkids. So today we're working on this particular piece, which happens to be a bread plate. And hopefully I don't have too much glare on this. I'm doing my own videography, which is always dangerous. But let me go through the materials I'm using. First of all, I'll need the ever-present palette knife. I like the flexible kind. That's just me. I'll also be using a wipeout tool with a chiseled edge, and then also the pointer edge as well. I've got two half-inch square shaders, metal ferrule. I prefer those with a natural hair brush. And so I'll probably use one for color for petals and the other one for leaf or foliage colors. For detail, I'll be using what I would call a 1/4 and an 1/8 inch brush. Again, square shaders. This time I've dropped down to quill. Just because I can't, I really am having a hard time finding the metal ferrule brushes in those sizes anymore. And for very, very fine detail, I'll be using the fine liners, and probably this one, which is, I wouldn't consider it a fine liner, it's very close, but I like to use it for sketching in and for the heavy stems that you would see on these larger flowers like peonies. So those are the brushes I'll be using. Here's my color palette. It's rather limited. I don't have a lot of colors I need on this particular place setting that I'm painting. But up here in the upper right corner, let me see if I can't get that at a better angle so you can see the entire palette. Here at the upper left, I've got French burgundy mixed with a little bit of red grape. It kind of tones down the bright pink. I'm doing a little bit of a darker rose for my color on this particular piece. I've got chartreuse here, which is a very bright lime green. Then we have old gold green, which is much more brown and more of a middle value. Black green, which is essential on almost every palette that I ever work with for shading. Mainly, and then I also like to use a little bit of highlight color. This is the mallard on the leaves. Then here in this lower corner we have a bright yellow lemon red, or I'm sorry, lemon yellow, of course, and corn, which is more of a darker, browner yellow. And we'll be using that for stamen and such, and not a lot of it, but we'll need some. And of course I'm using Betty Humphries Art Aid in my medium dish to condition my brush with. You can see I've already been painting with it a little bit. And I like this medium, especially for one fire work, because it helps me to be able to paint heavy and wet without worrying about runs and chipping. I also fire very hot. This piece will be fired to an 012 so that, because it will be used as a place setting, and so people will be eating off of it, I definitely want that overglaze color to sink deeply into the glaze. So actually, in this particular, I may even go to an 010 on these, just because it will bring out the pink, and it will always, as usual, sink the overglaze into the glaze for permanence. I'll also be using the Duratine brush cleaner because it does condition my brush as it cleans it, and it's also recyclable. The paint, the waste paint will fall to the bottom of the jar, and then you can just kind of pour it off and reuse it. So those are the things that I'll be using today. If you have any questions, of course, you can always reach me at 970-799-1788. That is my phone number. You can order any of these materials that I'm using today from that phone number. Ask any questions. I don't tend to look at comments. I am so sorry. I'm just not much of a social media person. So this is kind of a read-only or write-only channel, I guess you would say. So please contact me if you need to contact me by email. It's K.H. Pendleton, PENDLETON at hotmail.com. All right, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the very basics. Peonies, if you aren't familiar with the flower, I'd recommend that you just get online and start looking at them. They're a lovely flower, and as I mentioned, come in so many different varieties that you can paint with nearly any color. And be in good stead. They've been hybridized to the point where, you know, almost anything goes with them. I haven't seen any in black, but that's it so far. I've seen them in every other color under the sun. So they also have a guard petal generally. Now, again, they have so many different varieties. The guard petals are the first petals that open when it buds out, and then it exposes the secondary petals on the inside. So let me see if I can't show you that rather than just talk about it. Here's one of the pieces I've been working on with this place setting. So you see the guard petals out here along the edge. They're larger, tend to be larger, and then as we work our way towards the center of the flower, they get finer and finer. And that's just this variety. There are some varieties that have nothing but the secondary petals and have very little of the guard petal showing. Other varieties are almost all guard petal with very little of the secondary petals around a large stamen. So take a look online, find the shape and size and color that you like, and start painting it. You can use the same technique for any of them. Okay, so let me make sure that's centered so you can see, and here we go. First thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of medium. I'll use a little dirty medium. I like to use the pad of this middle finger to place the guard petals and do all the finger painting. Now, some people prefer their index finger. I've seen people paint with this ring finger or the little finger. So it's all whatever is comfortable for you. But you can see that I've put a pretty good amount of medium on that finger because I'm going to go into fresh paint, and I'm picking up the burgundy with a tiny bit of red grape added to it. And I'm going to start painting in those guard petals. Some of these are pretty much going to disappear, but I like to use them in this initial step just to keep track of direction and size of the flower that I'm painting. I want to do what I would call a three-quarter view. You can tell I'm just starting at the outside edge, and I'm reloading quite often. I don't make more than a stroke or two or three before I reload that finger, and I'm wanting an oval shape because of the three-quarter angle or profile that I'm looking at for this flower. Ooh, I got just a little bit too much medium on that last one, so I'm going to pull some of that off. Too much medium could cause a run. So you want to paint plenty of heavy color, and it should glisten, but it should not be wet or puddled. And let's get another guard petal down here. Or at least extend that one. And I think I would like a little bit more elongated shape, more of an oval on this. I'm going to stretch out these sides a bit, and that's probably going to do it for the initial finger painting here. I'm just going to fill in that center a little bit. And that does it for this first video. First step is complete. And we'll go on to sketch in stems and leaves next video. Thanks so much for watching. God bless. Bye-bye now.